Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Red Review. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to go over a few things. Number one, the Cybertruck is getting a makeover for its FSD. I'm so excited about this. You guys have no idea. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about a new game from the Triangle Factory, the same folks that produce Breachers. Also, we're going to look at AI in your vehicle, specifically Grok 3 and for it, Android Auto. So stick around and we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, first up, let's talk VR for a moment. You know, guys, I've been away from VR for a little bit, but if you guys follow the channel at all, you know I'm a really big VR guy. Really love playing the VR games, and they're really on the forefront of a lot of this. In any case, there's this wonderful game called Breachers, and Breachers is a 5v5 tactical shooter. It stretches back to the days of, say, Rainbow Six, things of that nature. Wonderful game. Well, from the creators of Breachers, Triangle Factory, they have announced a new game called Forefront. Now, Forefront is a VR shooter that has a 32-player battle. I mean, this is huge. I mean, this is kind of like Call of Duty now, or to be more specific, it would be more like Battlefield in VR. And I think this is the one that we've been waiting on a long time. I've really been looking forward to something like this for a very long time. And they announced Forefront to be released in late 2025. It's going to be on the Meta Quest 3, Quest S, Quest 2, Quest Pro, and of course the PC VR / Steam and Pico. Noticeably missing here is the PSVR 2. I'm going to have to do a whole other show on that, but it is noticeably missing from this lineup. So, what to expect? Lots of gunplay as usual. If you're used to playing Breachers, this is going to be great. The weapon handling is wonderful. Breachers was designed to be a little bit more arcadey than what Forefront is designed, so the reloading is a lot easier in Breachers. Now, they're kind of going the way of what they did on the PlayStation with the realistic reloading, say with some of the VR shooters that were on there. And so now you're actually going to have to reload the weapons for real. So the reload's going to take a little bit longer. They do have an automatic reload option, but that auto reload's going to take you a lot longer. So if you're adept at actually reloading a weapon in real life, then this won't be a problem, okay? This will not be a problem. And in fact, you're better off reloading like you normally do. Most interestingly, they're going to be going the way of Battlefield by adding in vehicles. Now, if you're an avid VR player, you already know putting vehicles in the game can get kind of, well, let's be honest, janky because of the motion sickness. Hopefully in this one, they've resolved that issue. They're using ATVs, tanks, helicopters. I mean, I've gotten my VR fortitude up to for the most part where I can kind of stand it. They claim that the vehicles aren't going to be a huge part of the game. For the most part, you're basically going to have two modes. One where you're going to be on the ground mostly, and it's just going to be the regular hand-to-hand combat or weapon-to-weapon combat. And then in the other modes, it's going to be mostly vehicular combat. So you can have the helicopter or the tank or the ATV. I question how well that's going to work because, quite frankly, I have not seen them put vehicles in any of their games thus far. But hey, if they're able to integrate it, we may be looking at the Battlefield killer, and this would spark the new VR war, without a doubt. 32-player games, 16 versus 16, very ambitious because sometimes the player base can be kind of thin in the VR games. And I'm guessing that's the reason why they've included the Quest 2 in on this. The game is optimized for the Quest 2, so the graphics are only going to be so good. So if you're looking for this super fantastic, visually aesthetic pleasing game like Call of Duty or something of that nature, I don't think this is it. But it's definitely going to look better than what Breachers does, for sure. So that, I don't want to tear it down in terms of looks. That's not what I'm trying to do here. All I am saying is that you might want to temper your expectations as far as to the high level of detail that's going to be in the game. Now, having said that, they're obviously going to try to make everything more efficient and run really efficient. To the guys running on Steam and the Pico, you may have to deal with it a little bit. This is a multiplayer game at the end of the day, and the guys on the Quest 2 will see how well it runs. But I'm really looking forward to this. It's supposed to be released in late 2025. When it does release, I'll be sure to cover it and review it for you guys and let you know how it goes. Moving on, let's talk AI. You have the different AI systems. You have Gemini, ChatGPT, well now Manus and DeepSeek and all of these other ones. But right now we don't have it in the car. The only ones that have announced it for the vehicles thus far is Tesla with Grok. Grok is coming to Tesla. Cannot wait, because now you're going to be able to make requests to the system and it's going to be able to think about it. I have to say that the speech recognition system and all of the Teslas are actually really good right now. I mean, it's the best system that I have used definitely in any vehicle, because it recognizes my words really, really well. But more than that, Grok is going to be able to answer all sorts of questions. Imagine having a nice digital assistant in your vehicle with you. You can ask him to put things on your schedule. You can ask them about different locations. You're no longer going to say, hey, take me to this restaurant. You're going to say, hey, find all the Italian joints that serve really spicy meatballs in the area. And they might be able to pull it up for you and be able to give you that information on the screen in your Tesla. Now, that's for all of the Teslas out there. What about everybody else? Well, turns out Android Auto has been working on this very prospect. As of right now, the only thing that you have in Android Auto is Google Assistant. And if you have a Samsung phone, you know that Google Assistant over the last year has been usurped mostly by Google Gemini. Gemini is actively taking over the phone. Well, there's been nice evidence put out there that Gemini is now starting to get integrated into Android Auto. So we're looking sometime at the end of the year when Android Auto may be getting Gemini usage. Even the live version of Gemini, where you speak to it as a conversationalist, will work. As of right now, I'm not aware that Grok can do that, or if it has that capability. I know it had some voice capability. It looks like it was pulled. It looked like it was. It's still being worked on. It's a work in progress. But in terms of the live version, thus far, Gemini seems to be it. And that's quite exciting. So now you have somebody to talk to for those really long drives on the road, I guess. So there's that. Once again, late 2025 is the expected release date of this. Could be pushed up a little bit sooner. We'll see. Now, let's talk Cybertruck. Cybertruck just got an interesting update from our friends over at notateslaapp.com. They had an exclusive on this one. 2 huge announcements coming from that. I know everybody has been waiting who has a Cybertruck, but at long last, you're going to get some ass. Specifically, actually smart summon. Yes. Let's have a round of applause for that. We're finally getting ass. So, you're going to finally be able to use the app and be able to summon your Cybertruck. I guess there were some technical problems before on the test beds when they were comparing the camera vision to the LiDAR that they were using on the truck before, and it kind of delayed things a little bit. But it's finally come into the Cybertruck. So we'll actually have smart summon on the Cybertruck, and it looks like it may be coming in the next update. So we're talking maybe just a few weeks opposed to a really long time from now. The other feature that the Cybertruck is getting is going to be FSD from park. Now, You could call this one a gimmick if you want to. I don't think it's a gimmick because I've used it in the Model 3 a few times. Essentially, you can plug in a location from park or send it from your phone to your vehicle. And from park, you can start FSD and it will back you out of your driveway or back you out of whatever parking spot you're in and take you to your destination. So now we're really talking door-to-door service now. Eventually, you're going to be able to select what you want the vehicle to do when you get there, whether or not you want to park in a parking spot, park, parallel park, pull into the garage, what have you. That's still on the way. But as of right now, you can start FSD from park. So now the truck will be able to go in reverse and you'll be able to shift gears, things of that nature, and go back and forth. Also, if FSD gets into a bit of a pickle in some tight alleys and it needs to turn around, it can now do that, because before it would just kind of run up into the alley and, well, it would just stop and stay confused because it couldn't do anything else. Those two things alone is reason to celebrate. Believe me, they're great. But one more thing that's flying underneath the radar of a lot of folks that's gotten lost in all the announcement is the improved FSD controller. Now, while it's not as flashy as, say, Start from Park FSD or, AS or something like that, it's not as flashy as that. It absolutely has an effect on FSD and how far ahead it's able to predict what it needs to do. So, having said that, now your FSD is going to be smoother. It's going to be able to make choices faster and earlier. Something that I was always wondering about. It's still a little, I don't want to call it janky. That's not true. But it did seem like its decisions were a little bit late in terms of what to do in relation to the Model 3, I've noticed. And there's always been a debate between, say, the extreme versions of the Model 3 versus the Cybertruck in terms of the FSD, because of the line of sight of the vehicles. Because the Model 3 sits so much lower to the ground, just by the very nature of the height, it has less visual reference than what the Cybertruck has. Cybertruck's going to be up a couple of feet higher than the Model 3, therefore it can have a better field of view. It's able to see a lot farther. Why was it not able to see that truck a little bit further out than what the Model 3 does? Well, this fixes all of that. And this is going to be a game changer for the Cybertruck. It's going to run a lot smoother, at least we hope, because we all know how some of these FSDs tend to run. It goes well until it doesn't. And sometimes the update tends to break stuff. We'll see. But expect this update in the very near future. We're being told maybe 2-3 weeks on the outside. But as I said, I am very excited about this one. So let me know what you think. Well, all of these things have been very exciting. I'm very excited to see all of this come to fruition. I hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know what you think. Put comments below about these different topics, or what you would like to see. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon. Peace.